Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is officially Friday. Thank the Lord. We're back here. It is October 25th. We're ending the week off right with all the news you need to know about. And Lamb, I can't even talk right. The news is just bonkers, you guys. I couldn't decide what the hell to do on this Friday episode and show all of you because there's so much stuff. My brain just glitched out trying to describe what I was about to jump into in terms of today's episode. So forgive me. And I don't know what it is about this week, but starting off the show, I always start off with a little sip of coffee, right? Well, I've been taking really big sips of coffee lately, and it's been messing me up. I got to be careful. Big, like I can't even talk. Reset really quick. Showtime. Big Weave. Thank you so much for the $5. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Coming out of the gates, swinging. Absolutely love it. Well, folks, we need Donald Trump back in office. And it's not just us. It is not just us. It is the world. And I think a lot of people are too scared still to say that they're going to vote for Donald Trump and still too scared to come out and say that the guy is going to sit there and fix a lot of damn things that need to be fixing. And the Democrats cause a lot of problems that we're facing right now. So we're going to jump into the tail end of yesterday's episode on what we were covering. And then we're going to jump into what the hell is going on, because is there going to be a World War III taking place here? You got North Korean troops being trained in Russia that are allegedly going to be sent to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war. And John Kirby's sounding the alarm during the White House press briefing. And we got Wonder Woman, Jackie Heinrich, stepping up to the plate and getting a little spicy and sassy, which is nice to see. So we ended off yesterday talking about how a Biden staffer here is saying that no one is listening to Joe. Now, that's a problem. Do I think, regardless of whether I like the president or not, that people should be listening to him? Yes, because he was still elected, and I put that in air quotes, folks, for those that are on audio. He was still elected as president. He's still somebody that is supposed to be running the show. And I say supposed to because we don't know who's running the show. We don't know who's pulling the strings. I say the deep state. I'm not fond of saying the deep state. And I'm not fond of it because it's not specific enough. I don't like when people shout, well, there's institutional racism out there. Okay, well, what institutions? And then not only that, but what people in those institutions are doing racist things or saying racist things so that we could fight it together. That's the goal, right? You have to be very specific so that we can actually solve the problem. But when I just say that there's a deep state out there, I'm basically doing what they're doing. I'm just saying that there's institutional racism. There's some nameless, faceless, shadowy figure out there called a deep state. Well, the deep state are those bureaucrats that stay in office regardless whoever's elected and not elected. They're the ones that just are there when the turnover happens consistently. A lot of the times this happens in the FBI, these three-letter agencies. And so I don't know who's pulling the strings here, but look, Joey's brain ain't working. And I guess some dude just came out, I think it was Bernstein or whatever, just came out and said, hey, Joe Biden, like a year ago, everybody was saying that he's struggling to talk. His mental acuity is just non-existent. So that kind of exploded. Like I said, there's a lot of news, folks. A Biden-Harris official told the journalist that no one is listening to President Joe Biden, even though he's the current commander-in-chief. That's kind of freaky, man, especially with what's going on overseas, which we'll get to in just one moment. Makes you wonder then, who is the commander-in-chief and who's calling the shots? If nobody's listening to him and all this stuff is happening around us constantly, then who is it? The unnamed official reportedly told this to Axios. Reporter Alex Thompson, in response to Biden's comments at a campaign event about locking up former President Donald Trump, who is currently running against Vice President Kamala Harris, the woman who placed Biden at the top of the ticket, or replaced her, or him rather. For better or worse, no one is listening to him maybe anymore, and his words have little power and less reach. It's a blip, gone in any meaningful way by midday tomorrow, if it makes it that long. That's scary stuff, man. And I say it's scary because of what's going on with Russia. So here you have North Korea deploys troops to Russia, setting off alarms in the West. Secretary Lloyd Austin called it very, very serious issue. And remember, the Biden administration loves to downplay everything. So if they're coming out saying, yeah, this is really serious, this is not good, this is really bad, then kind of escalate it even further than that. It is not good. And if you have other countries now coming in, before it was just realistically Russia, Ukraine, right? Now you're having other people coming in and giving support in some way, shape, or form with boots on the ground. This could be the makings of a greater conflict, which we don't want to see. We're already spread thin as it is with what's going on in the Middle East. You got China surrounding and doing a war training surrounding Taiwan. You got the Houthis bombing everybody left and right. You got the Iranians wanting to get their skin into the game. They're looking for any reason to get into some conflict. You got Russia, Ukraine. I mean, everything is on edge. And that's why I said the world needs Trump back in office, because Trump doesn't want war. I don't want war. I like my life. I don't want to go fight on somebody's war and die and give up everything that I worked so hard for. Do you know what I mean? I like what I got. I like hanging out with you guys every single day. So North Korean troops have deployed to Russia and may join the fight against Ukraine, U.S. officials Wednesday. Over at YouTube, Princess Elder, a longtime supporter of the Bold Brad Show. Thank you so much for the $4.99. You guys are being extremely generous today. Thank you again with the sticker. I love the dancing, the movie, the Donald Trump dance. Actually, that's a good sticker for the Trump dance. That's how Trump dances, like this. I love it. I've been working on it, so hopefully we can use the dance on November 5th. The confirmation from U.S. officials came after South Korea and Ukraine in recent days have expressed alarm at the North Korea troop movements. South Korea lawmakers have said that 3,000 North Korean troops have left Russia so far, and another 7,000 are expected to go, according to NBC. So you're looking at 10,000 troops, which is quite a bit. And look, if you're a North Korean troop and you're able to get out of North Korea, and you're probably going to get a solid meal, it ain't all bad news for the North Koreans in that sense. You know what I mean? They're probably eating pretty good. Like, this is going to war is better than living in North Korea. Thank you, Kim Jong-un. Thank you. Oh, boy. All right. I feel like we're getting a little bit of a step up now. I feel like I'm getting woken up a little bit here. That's the disadvantages of doing a morning show. I'm still like, my brain circuits still aren't working. I mean, this is like at the most, this is how I feel when I wake up in the morning about 4:30, 4:45. And then I do the show here starting off at 6. You know, I'm still waking up myself, just as probably all of you are. But I get to see what it feels like being a Democrat, because the wires are crossed. You know what I mean? So when I start like mixing up my words and still trying to figure things out because it's not really working, it's quite astonishing because it's not fun. I don't want to be like that. And then I get a little glimpse of what it's like to be Joey, where things just don't work properly and you have to live your life every day like that. That's not fun. Not fun. The other thing's not fun is, again, what was going on with North Korea sending in troops to Russia for training. So John Kirby squares off with Jackie Heinrich of Fox News, our Wonder Woman. And, well, she pushes back, and it's awesome. Here we go.
John, why not? Why not greenlight the long-range missiles for Ukraine's use, which is Zelensky's #1 ask, as you're sounding the alarm about what could have far-reaching implications if North Korean soldiers go into Ukraine?
Well, for one thing, Jackie, we don't exactly know what these guys are going to do.
What else could they be there for?
We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to deploy into combat or not. We don't know if they do and what strength. We certainly don't have a sense of what capability they might be able to bring to the field with them.
Doesn't this seem, though, like we were a couple years ago, they were staged, you had Russian troops staged on the Ukrainian border, and this administration was saying, we don't know if they're going to go in, we don't want to impose any sanctions, we didn't do it ahead of time.
No.
Why is there not a consequence first?
Well, first of all, let's not rewrite history, Jackie. We were the first country to go out publicly and say, here's what we think the Russians are going to do. Here's the timeline.
Anything about it.
That is not true, Jackie.
There was no preemptive sanction. Nothing.
Jackie, that is not true. It's true we didn't levy sanctions originally because we were hoping that the threat of sanctions might deter or dissuade Mr. Putin. You lay sanctions on before...
Did you catch that? Well, the threat was what's supposed to get them. That they were supposed to be shaking in their boots because we threatened them. And that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. And it proves our point, does it not? I will come back to this. Does it not prove our point that Donald Trump, just him in office, was a deterrence for the rest of the world? Nobody wanted to F around and find out from Donald Trump's threats because they knew, I'll blow your ass right out of the water. I will make your fucking country a parking lot. Beep, boop, beep, boop. And he wasn't kidding either. Man was not kidding. Joe Biden makes threats. Nothing happens. Again, like I've always mentioned, they allowed the Houthis to attack not just our military troops in Iraq, but also our allies' merchant vessels over there in the Red Sea. 127 times he said, stop doing that. I'm going to retaliate. Stop doing that. I'm going to retaliate. Your words are empty at that point. I've always said, why do we allow these Iranian guys, these nut jobs and these freaking pontoon boats to sit there and fire machine guns and go after our merchant vessels? Start blowing their asses off the water. I don't even want a shot over the bow. I don't even want a warning shot. You want to come in and act like an idiot? There's one right to you. Just blow them up. I don't care. Throw a $20 million bomb on them and watch the fireworks go. That's what I've always said. Well, then Democrats come out, well, you're not for life. That's too dramatic. Well, when you put in consequences, people are going to stop doing it. When you start showing video after video of just that one shot, they're coming in from like 30 miles out and you just do the whole clip and just one shot, boom, gone. And you just keep doing that over and over again. I guess you what? They're going to think twice. They are going to think twice about doing what they're doing. But because we don't do that with the Biden administration, that's why threats don't work.
The man makes a decision, then he might as well just go ahead and do it. And we did levy sanctions on him. Heavy sanctions, not just us, but around the world. Number two, we mobilized support for Ukraine even before Mr. Putin decided to step across that line. And no country has done more than the United States to make sure Ukraine is ready.
So let's not prevent this from happening.
Jackie, let me finish the second question, and then we'll get your third one. So let's not rewrite history. The United States didn't sit idly by here. We've been Ukraine's staunchest and most prolific supporter in terms of security assistance. And as for the policy decision, the president remains, and we all remain, in direct contact with our Ukrainian counterparts. We're talking to them about what they need. As I said, we've just announced $800 million more, and there'll be more coming in security assistance. I just don't have any policy changes to speak to today.
Why would you not put a restriction on the type of target that can be hit, rather than the distance from a border that obviously Russia doesn't recognize, and you've got training happening with North Korean troops, I would assume, on the types of military installations that would be fair game if that decision was made.
Yeah, we'll see what the Russians and North Koreans decide to do here. As I said earlier, if these North Korean soldiers decide to join the fight against Ukraine, they will become legitimate military targets.
Jackie, we gotta go.
I do like the ending part from John Kirby there, that if they do join the fight, then they're going to be military targets. And that's exactly what we have right here. North Korean troops who join Russia in Ukraine war are fair targets, USA, from the US says. And that comes from John Kirby. Now, remember, it was only going to be 10,000, and that was 48 hours ago. Well, now, as of 24 hours ago, North Korea is expected to send now 12,000 troops to Russia. So they're just going to keep sending more and more. As I mentioned, this is a problem, folks. This is a huge problem. You might be thinking, well, what's the big deal that they're just sending them to Russia and then they go into Ukraine? Like, what does that have to do with us? Because as I've mentioned, what is going to stop them from sending even more troops, escalating the war in a bigger way, and then ultimately having the Iranians or somebody else sit there and join up as well? So when you start a snowball effect, who knows what's going to happen? And this could lead into Trump's presidency, folks. I mean, now Trump has to sit there and deal with not just Russia, now has to, before he was already dealing with Russia, right? And he kind of sat there and calmed things down a little bit. And then Biden made it worse. Donald Trump sat there and figured out things with North Korea somewhat, and Joe Biden just made it worse. Donald Trump sat there and figured things out with China somewhat. Joe Biden just made it worse. Donald Trump sat there and basically depleted the Iranians' military and put in sanctions that basically was destroying their economy. Joe Biden sends them hundreds of billions of dollars and makes the things worse. I mean, what hasn't gone wrong with Joe Biden in office? Like everything that guy has touched or said has turned to crap, to doo-doo. And for some ungodly reason, there's people saying, yeah, it's the best president that's really ever happened. The guy sat there and sacrificed for the country. He stepped down. He really did the things he needed to do. Why don't you wake up and look at the fact that you voted for a guy that's brain's not working? Like, very similar to how my brain's not working right now. That's Joe Biden's every day, but like 50-fold. At least I have the excuse of I'm tired. He has the excuse for what? He's been in the freaking political sphere his entire life. Still can't figure it out. Well, he has the wisdom and the tenacity and the strength and the energy to lead this country in the right direction. He's the most experienced person that's on the stage right now. Well, if he's the most experienced person, and that was the most experienced person for the Democrat Party, what the hell is Kamala then? Kamala's not experienced at all. She's an idiot. She's a buffoon. It totally made sense to me this morning. You know, I'm sitting there waking up, just trying to freaking not run into walls while I'm trying to make my cup of coffee. And I'm like, what the hell? This is who they have. Like, they don't have a deeper bench. This is who they put forward. It's Kamala. And then I start thinking, I go, watching all these interviews, even with not showing you on the show itself, all the interviews she does, it actually made sense the first few weeks or months as to why they didn't show for her out doing interviews. She is god awful. She is god awful. And I really do mean that. I'm not doing that to play it up or nothing. She is an idiot. And then I started to think and go, well, again, she didn't act like that when she was over here in California, but when she went to DC, she started just talking kind of like Joe and every other dweeb. And then I was thinking, well, what would the cause of that be? Like, why is she struggling so hard to answer basic questions? And I think I have an answer. When you sit there and lie, it is really hard to not only continue that lie, but also to make up something that connects to all the other lies that you said. To where if you're just being honest, like we are on the show, it's very easy to have a conversation with somebody and just answer questions plainly because you actually believe in them. Like me, I talk about the border and I talk about solutions to the border. I talk about deporting people and how you can actually do it utilizing local law enforcement, ICE, as well as you're gonna have to use the military to sit there and evac all these people out of here, deport them. You need to first solve the border. You're going to need funding from Congress to build a border wall. And that's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be in the billions, but you're going to be saving billions of dollars because under Biden's administration, he spent close to $1 trillion in 4 years. I think we could spend $100 billion on a border wall and also fund a little bit more border security. Because it's going to take time to get that border wall built, you need to sit there and start sending the military down to the border to secure the whole thing. I'm not talking about having one guy every mile. I'm talking bringing the full brigade, baby. Keep the border open so people can come legally through ports of entry. But you need to sit there and then start going door to door and figuring out who all these illegals are, having them register as illegal aliens, figure out who has committed crimes and not, deport the criminals first, the violent gang members, get rid of all of them. I don't care where you send them to the middle of freaking wherever, and then we'll figure out the rest of them. But that's how you start doing it, and it's going to take a long time, longer than 4 years. So that's what you have going on here is CAC and Kamala can't figure out a damn thing. Joe Biden's so weak along with Kamala that now you have everybody just feeling like they can do anything around the world, whereas we need this guy right here, Mr. 45, baby, back in office. We do. Look, I've been saying that I want this guy as president since 2016, at least 2015. The second he went down the escalator, come on. Oh, well, he's a threat to democracy. Didn't you see what he did on January 6th? You know what I think of men when they sit there like, oh, January 6th, he was going to he was going to destroy the country, the democracy, he was against the Constitution. You know what type of guys say that shit? Those are the types of guys that sit down and pee. They're not those aren't men. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that sit there and, get the duct tape out and tape their tits down. The Atlantic's Trump. I'm sorry. Well, that took a turn. The Atlantic's Trump Love Hitler hit piece hit a snag. Now, we talked about yesterday, like more people are coming out going, yeah, dude, this is not even close to being real. Look, if you're going to make a hit piece on a guy, at least make it seem like it could be real. This on the onset, like my bullshit meter was just, right? Like kind of like when Joe Biden sees a young girl. I was going like, hey, this doesn't even sound like Trump. Like, it doesn't even sound like something he would do. I can get him. Like, if you would have just been like, yeah, he saw the $60,000. He goes, whoa, 60 G's now for a funeral. Like, when did that go up? Because that's how I think. I could totally see myself doing that. Like, it wasn't like, hey, you're not going to pay it. It's just like, holy shit. Like, when did putting a body into the ground cost 60 G's? Like, I get that, right? Him cussing, calling her a Mexican and all. No. It just doesn't sound like who Trump is. A family man. The guy's a grandfather, right? Loves his family. Had his family at the RNC. His family doesn't do all these drugs and all this crazy stuff with prostitutes and hookers like you see from Joe Biden's family. You don't ever see Kamala Harris's family. Hell, you guys keep talking about me covering Candace Owens stuff on the whole thing with Kamala Harris. You guys, I never gave you an actual answer of why I try to stay away from that. Folks, Candace is a multi-millionaire. She has lawyers up the wazoo. She has insurance through her corporation, through her business, that can cover defamation suits. You guys, I'm just an average Joe like all of you in my closet just doing this with a camera and a microphone. I don't have all that stuff to mess around with. So please understand that I would love to indulge you on certain things like the Candace Owens stuff and cover certain things. I don't, like, whatever you guys donate and our members, that's what we make here on the show. Remember, YouTube's not sitting there pulling out all the stops for us. We're not making it big here. It's pennies every video. So please, I want to cover that stuff, but also I don't have the fees and the money to sit there and pay for litigation if I was to get sued by Kamala Harris or somebody else for defamation. So I love you. But not going to do it. No. An article that was published on Tuesday, Kelly was quoted as saying that Trump had often praised the German generals. Oh, and when asked to clarify, had told Kelly he wanted the kind of generals that Hitler had. Kelly also claimed that Trump had praised Hitler for doing some good things. Oh, like rebuilding the German economy in World War I. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't like Hitler. I hate Hitler. I hate just evil in general. But you could still say that somebody, before they did those evil things, actually did some good things and did a lot of atrocious things. It's okay to sit there and distinguish different things that somebody evil did. Wasn't a lot of good, but there was something there you can look at. But according to a few who worked either alongside or for Kelly in the Trump White House, who was at the time serving as the chief of staff, the retired general's words appeared to be the complaints of a malcontented ex-employee directed at a former boss he no longer likes. Exactly. Meaning he fabricated it. And people were coming out through the woodworks yesterday, from Megyn Kelly to Mercedes Schlapp. I mean, you had everybody stopping in. Michael Morrison was up there just saying, hey, this isn't real. This is a bunch of baloney. People that are close to Trump are coming out saying it's not real. Very similar to him saying that, burying a Mexican was $60,000 and cussing. It just doesn't sound real. So this was like the Democrats' October surprise. This is what they had locked and loaded, ready to go right before the election because they thought it would gain traction. Now they're bringing back the whole Charlottesville thing. Oh, look what he's done. He's a threat. Look at that. He wants to have Hitler's generals. Hey, we've been telling you guys for years that he's Hitler. We've been telling you for years he wants to start up the Nazi party again. Look what they did in Charlottesville. Look at all the things he's done to black people, all the negative things he said about people. Look what he just said about burying a Mexican for $60,000 who was a veteran. Look what he's saying about veterans. Hey, do you remember that makeshift story we told you years ago where he says that he doesn't like vets, that they're losers and all these other things? This is what they had planned. They're idiots. They're idiots. They think that we believe it. And the thing is, a lot of Democrats do believe it. A lot of Democrats will actually sit there and go, oh my gosh, like, can you believe this guy? He said these things. Rather than, hey, why don't you just sit there and just think about it for a second and go, is there a possibility that maybe it's not real? Because how the hell are you going to verify this, by the way? Like, in an actual way, how are you going to verify it? It's a he said, she said story. I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. Even Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, believe it or not, you guys, behind the scenes, I do give them the benefit of the doubt. They screwed up here. Okay. Like, I get it. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. It's when it keeps happening over and over and over again. The thing is, Donald Trump has sat there and said he doesn't like racism. He doesn't like the Ku Klux Klan. He doesn't like Hitler over and over and over again. But Democrats can't get it through their thick skull because it's thick. And, well, quite frankly, there's nothing inside that skull that's going to sit there and make things click regardless. So unbelievable stuff. And then you got Mike Lee coming out and saying, well, Kamala's trolling for assassins with this Hitler rhetoric. Correct. And there's a reason why the Iranians want to sit there and go after Trump, not just because Trump was harsh on the Iranians, but also because, the Iranians are receiving hundreds of billions of dollars from the Biden-Harris campaign, administration, and soon to be, I guess, right now, campaign, and you know what I mean. So if you're getting hundreds of billions of dollars from an individual that is running for president versus a guy that was president saying, I'm going to destroy your economy. I don't want you, no, we're not going to allow you to sit there and bomb anybody anymore. You're probably not going to like the guy, and you're going to like the girl that's giving you all the money. So it makes sense. And now they're just upping it up here by saying Trump's Hitler. So I find it troubling, he told the Daily Wire, especially because to me, it feels like she's trolling for assassins. When you're constantly calling him Hitler, that's really dangerous. I'm not one who thinks that no one can ever make a Hitler comparison or at least draw upon it. But when you identify him as much as they have with Hitler, you characterize him that way, it tends to leave a lot of people feeling morally justified in doing or saying things they wouldn't otherwise do or say. Basically saying that when you start ramping up the rhetoric this way and you start calling somebody a threat to democracy over and over and over again, that he wants to destroy the country, he's not going to leave office if he's reelected again, which is baloney, doesn't even fucking make sense, by the way. And all you call him Hitler, all these things. It's weird. Did you notice that they never call the guy Mao? Did y'all notice that? That they never call him Mao? There's so many other people, by the way, that have committed so many other atrocious crimes. Like, don't get me wrong, call somebody Hitler all you want. But it's just weird to me that they never bring up these other people that killed like 35 million people, 40 million people, upwards. I mean, Mao's upwards of 65 is what I've heard. Wild stuff. Hey, Princess Elder with another $4.99. Thank you so much. I mean, Princess Elder is really keeping the lights on right now for all of us. Greatly appreciated. Originally with the $4.99, another $4.99 to make it basically $9.99. I could do a little bit of math this morning. Not much. Don't push it, folks. Don't push me. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, it is Friday, folks. I mean, we're all feeling pretty good because, hell, I need this weekend more than ever, as do I'm sure many of you. Hit that like button over at Rumble as well as YouTube. Hey, we might as well plug some stuff here while we're at it. I do have a book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Phenomenal book, really. The reason why I say phenomenal is because if I'm going to write a damn book, it's going to be a book that I would want to read. And so that's the way I wrote it. I modeled it after Ben Shapiro's books, Thomas Sowell's books, Dinesh D'Souza, Charlie Kirk. So I kind of took their methods of how they wrote their books and kind of evolved and made it my own. So check that out. Thank you, Secret Agent, for posting that over at Rumble and YouTube. Trojan Horse. Also, send it to a friend. Holidays are coming up. Buy it now. Wrap it up. Give it to a friend for the holidays, even a Democrat, and see what they do with it. You know, Democrats need truth too. Maybe they need some awakening. Would really appreciate that. Again, that's Trojan Horse. Got to plug myself. Yeah. Other than that, we have a lot of news to cover. I'm trying to read your guys' chat as we move forward here. Stalin killed 26 million Russians. Yeah, it's crazy. But, you know, they always have to say Trump's Hitler. And they think it's going to stick. Now, the other news that's going to sit there and, going to ruin your morning is Biden-Kamala is granting a quiet amnesty to a huge number of illegals. Why? Well, it's because we're, you know, less than 2 weeks out from election and they need the votes. Oh, man. You know, I'm going to try to keep it calm. It's not the first time they're trying this. A new report from the House Judiciary Committee says that the Biden-Harris administration is exploiting immigration court proceedings to grant de facto amnesty to nearly 1 million illegal immigrants. 1 million. Thank you, Karen, for saying Trojan Horse is a great read. Appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I put a lot of time into that. That's a big feat of mine. Under Biden and Harris, there have been more than, holy shit, 10.3 million illegal entries into the United States. That's a lowball number. It's a lowbie. It's way more than that. Now check this out. With an additional 2+ million gotaways. Now that doesn't include the unknowns. You could. So what does that make? 12.3. We'll say, let's round it to 13 million. You could have the possibility. I think some of you might be behind this. You could have upwards of 20 million illegal aliens under the Biden-Harris administration invade our country. Now, take the 15, 20 million that were already here over decades and decades. Yeah, 30 million plus. Yep. You could very well have 40 million plus illegal aliens in this country present time. 40 million people, dude. And Democrats go, they are not siphoning from our medical system. It has no impact on our infrastructure. Our education system's just fine. They aren't taking a dime. They're actually paying in more than they're getting out. It's like, what? They're not sitting there messing with our free market system by buying up property or sitting there renting or getting assistance. How would they even do that? Now, you might, by the way, I don't make any of this shit up. This comes from all Democrats. When I sit there and act like an idiot, that's stuff that they are saying that I hear on street interviews, that I hear them on like that show Jubilee that does the debate stuff with these idiots that just want to sit there and try to destroy people rather than actually having an honest conversation about anything. Like, no, this is really what they're saying. Wild. So that represents the number of times someone has been observed crossing over the border illegally without apprehensions. The other way they sit there and try to track known gotaways is, because we've seen video of it, is they watch the tire trackings of the vehicles. Obviously, they don't know how many people are in the vehicle, but they also actually count the footsteps of the different types of length of shoe and all that other stuff. It's pretty remarkable. Though the administration's maneuvering, the Biden-Harris Justice Department and Homeland Security have caused the immigration court backlog to skyrocket, over 3.7 million new cases fiscal year of just 2021. Just in 2021, over 3.7 million new cases. That's because they've given everybody asylum, or being able to sit there and say like, oh, you know, I'm seeking asylum. Before you used to give evidence. Now it's just like, well, okay, you're going to say that you're seeking asylum. Go ahead and enter the country, siphon from all our programs that we have that you don't even pay into, all of us do, and then come back in 10 years when Joe Biden's probably dead and gone, or at least looking like Jimmy Carter, and we'll figure it out then. Don't worry about it. So it's not even going to be Trump's problem necessarily in the courts. It's actually going to be somebody that's like 2 presidencies or 3 presidencies down that has to deal with the bullshit that was created by Kamala Harris. And maybe it'll be another Democrat. And the funny thing is the Democrat that maybe is elected in office in 3 terms or wherever, 2 terms, they're going to sit there and blame Donald Trump or some Republican for the shit that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris created. That's the remarkable thing about it. Still can't make sense of it. The other thing that the Democrats can't make sense of themselves is the fact that overwhelmingly majority of Americans want voter ID and proof of citizenship to vote, because anybody in their right mind would want that, because you want your vote to count. And when you have a non-citizen, an illegal alien that's voting, it basically voids your vote. It cancels out your vote, and it shouldn't happen. And then the legacy media always comes out. I mean, how many times do we show the clip of these people, you guys, where they come out and say, well, it's illegal to vote. We know that. It's illegal to do a lot of things, but there's a lot of idiots out there that still do a lot of illegal things. And for some reason, rather than going after the people that are doing illegal things, they go after all of us and sit there and pull the shit that they do, like, for example, the Second Amendment. Well, you need to take a test to get a firearm. Oh, well, you know what? It's the sheriff's department, and it's going to be the county that tells you if you can or can't have a CCW. All this stuff, right? Everybody in their right mind wants voter ID, and as they should. A new survey conducted by Mainstream Polling found that the overwhelmingly majority of Americans want key new tools to protect the integrity of U.S. elections. Correct. The new poll from Gallup, conducted the first 2 weeks of October, so fairly new, found that 84% of Americans favor requiring all voters to provide photo identification at their polling place in order to vote. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily increase a ton of integrity, because you have these people that are receiving ballots. I was just talking to my buddy the other day, literally yesterday, about how not only on the show have we shown where somebody, say in the state of California, used to live here, and then they moved to a different state. And so not only are their family members getting their ballots here in the state of California, but they're also getting ballots sent to them in their new home in a different state. And they have the possibility of voting twice, or, I don't know, giving the Democrats their old ballots or other ballots and saying, hey, just go ahead and take these, do what you will with them, have some fun. And now the numbers are a little bit inflated. And then we wonder why, hey, how is a state with 2 million people having 3 million people vote or on the registration? How's that possible? Well, because you have illegals voting. You also had upwards of 17 to 21% say and admit the fact that they committed voter fraud in the 2020 election through a survey. So all those things are happening and are still happening, which is why we did almost an hour-long episode yesterday on voter fraud, which is still taking place because both Republicans and Democrats didn't want to get their head out of their asses and actually solve this thing, even though majority of Americans want election integrity to take place. The polling also found that 83% of Americans favor requiring people who are registering to vote for the first time to provide proof of citizenship. That would be nice. And that's a hell of a lot of Americans right there, by the way. Even Elon Musk highlighted the poll in posting, why do Democrats oppose the will of the people? Well, because the Democrat Party is a shell of what it used to be. As we mentioned, when you look throughout history, the Democrat Party used the term Democrat because of the way that the phraseology works of becoming a democracy and implementing democratic ideas and policy through their very party, which they don't do anymore. And by the way, that was echoed by Andrew Jackson, if you're curious on where I'm getting that from. And then they sat there and completely disregarded the whole idea of what the name of their party represents and puts forth somebody not using democracy, but using dictatorship or some other bullshit, whatever you want to say, and install a coup of an individual named Kamala Harris as the leader without ever getting a single vote to be the leader of that party. They're a shell of themselves. They don't know what they are anymore. I say they're more progressive. I'm starting to lump progressives and Democrats together. The reason why is because if you want to see a true Democrat, look at Tulsi Gabbard. That is a true Democrat. And I'm not just saying that because now she's part of the Democrat or the part of the Republican Party. I'm saying that because she was acknowledging that the Democrat Party itself, that she doesn't recognize it anymore, that she was even more likely to become an independent. That would make sense to me. You shifting and staying in the middle by becoming an independent. Democrats are now just progressives. Ben Shapiro won't admit that. A lot of people won't admit that. Democrats are going far left. You're a shell of what that party used to be. Democrats, you're a shell. You don't even recognize your own party anymore. At least I still recognize Republicans, even though I'm a fiscal conservative, registered Republican. So that's a lot of people that support proof of citizenship, and I think it should happen. And that's no surprise here on the show. I've been saying that forever. It's just, well, you're a racist because black people can't get IDs. That's what they said, right? Remember that video we showed? It's astonishing. By the way, there's a lot of black people that watch my show. Ask them. They have IDs. They have proof of citizenship. They can go do it. They're just normal people. It's fucking insane to me. It really is. We got like almost every ethnicity out there that watches this show. This show is streamed live on Twitter, X, Rumble, across the entire planet, right? They're just people. I don't understand like why we talk about other races as if like they're like some alien or something. Like here. Like, why do we talk about it like they're like this? I don't know if you guys knew I actually have toys up here. Like, I don't even have a kid, by the way. I am the kid. Like, why do we talk to them like they're like this? You know what I mean? Like, why? I don't understand. I actually got I got Kamala Harris here too. I appreciate you guys, man. Really, I do. You guys let me kind of it's therapeutic. I get to unload all my thoughts on all of you and my struggles and my complaints and my feelings. But really, I mean, we need voter integrity, guys. And I know you know that, but it's just wild stuff. So even MSNBC is looking at Kamala Harris going, Jesus, dude, what the hell's wrong with this lady? They're even coming out going, fuck, I don't know if we can do this. Like, remember, they don't think that far ahead. Democrats don't think far ahead. That's why they just shout shit to the skies and they don't know how to actually solve it, right? Like, well, what's the point? You guys are asking, what's the point? Oh, well, I'll tell you what the point is. The point that I'm trying to make is, well, the Green New Deal, let's just build every home. Let's get rid of every airplane and carbon emission vehicle, like gas combustion, let's just get rid of it all. It's going to cost trillions and destroy our economy, but let's do it. They shout shit and they don't actually think of like what the consequences are. The furthest that they get, and I'll give them credit on this, is short term. They don't ever think about the long term. What's another example? Because, Democrats are spazzing out right now, twitching out like is, well, let's look at the cash payments that you did during the COVID, the stimulus checks. Well, you guys just handed out those like hotcakes. And then when the inflation spikes to 9.1%, you are completely, like your fucking mind is blown. That you just pumped trillions of dollars into the economy. Not only that, but you were paying people more money to stay at home than actually go back to work, and expected business owners to also pay for those people that aren't going back to work because you're out competing the marketplace artificially by keeping those people home, but they're still expected to not go to work, but yet you're expecting the businesses to pay for them for not going to work. On top of that, you're also pumping it full of trillions of dollars and they're completely shocked. So in the short term, like, this is a great idea. We're going to sit there and give all these people money and they're going to be happy. $600 for rent, all these things. And then they're, inflation? Oh, what? What? Donald Trump's fault, you Hitler? Oh, shit, you piece of crap, you racist, you bigot. Oh, you xenophobe. Puh, puh. Donald Trump, how could you do that? It's like, you fucking did it. Like, what the hell are you talking about? So they don't realize the long-term ramification is they have to deal with Kamala if she gets elected for another 4 years, just like the rest of us do. Now, will it give us content here on the show? Absolutely. I don't want that. My show will probably continue to increase if it gets in office. I want Trump, baby. I want Trump all the way. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. But they don't think 4 years in advance. I think now, maybe they start getting a little inkling of Kamala here going, I can't, not getting any of their questions answered, nothing like that. So I think they're starting to wake up to the fact that, she's going to be in office for 4 years, possibly. We got to deal with this broad. She can't answer fucking anything. So black voters ain't having her shit. Black voters ain't about Kamala because they're getting it. Look at that lady up here. She's like, oh, hell nah. They see what's coming. These are Trump supporters, folks. These people know that Kamala is a big problem. And I think MSNBC is slightly waking up to it. Just a wee bit.
Let me start with the women here about Kamala Harris.
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that, and I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
We brought up...
Yes. Let me rephrase what she said. I don't want a little little bitch in office. I want an alpha male that's going to sit there and protect me, because the Democrats forget there's real evil out there. As much as they want to say, and we'll continue this clip because it keeps going, as much as they want to say Donald Trump's Hitler, right? He's a threat. He's all these other things. Their life is so sheltered compared to some places around the world that they don't know what real evil looks like anymore. We've lived in general, in such prosperity compared to a lot of other times throughout human history, that they are so consumed in their own bubble that they don't actually realize that there's people that want to behead their asses, that want to sit there and wipe them off the face of the earth. We need to let everybody in. We need to have everybody in. They're here to work, all these other things. No, some of them are here to kill you, lady. Some of them are here to hurt you and your family and rape you. That's not fun. That is some real shit. And somehow Democrats need to wake up to this, that it's not cool to have 20 fucking million people coming in this country. Some of them want a good life. Some of them want to make America better. But you know what? Some of them don't. And I don't really like taking on that risk when I have a family myself, meaning a wife, that could be harmed. That I'm worried when she goes out and does something by herself, that there's some nut job out there that the Biden-Harris administration allowed in, because I'm in fucking Southern California and they don't want to do shit about anything, that they have to go out and now have to worry about, possibly being harmed by some illegal or some terrorist or some nut job that's not supposed to be here in the first place. So most likely when I'm out, guess who I'm also with? My wife, because I want to be there to protect her, because I ain't no fucking beta male that sits there and goes, it's okay, honey. I'll wear your sports bra out with you. Let me go out and vote for Kamala, white man for Kamala. No. That's a little bit of a rant because I don't like, and by the way, I like you guys. I like a lot of Democrats too. They're Americans, but I don't want anybody being harmed. You know what I mean? That's something we can all get around here. It's astonishing that we're even having this conversation. I know you guys have common sense, don't get me wrong, but again, it's a show and we got a commentary out there, but none of this is difficult. None of this is difficult. When did we get here? You know what I mean? Like, when the hell did it start being okay to allow terrorists into the country and murderers? And then for people not to believe it. That's the wild thing. There's people that actually don't believe that Joe Biden allowed all these millions of people to come across the border. God, man, we are so fucked as a country. I really do mean that. We need Biden back in office. We got Terry over there. I see it, Terry, with the $1.99 and the number one finger. I don't know if that's pointing up or if we're saying Trump's number one, but I'm going to go with both. $1.99. Thank you so much, Terry. Appreciate it. And with the badass badge. I love the badges. If you're curious where we got those badges, I made them. Now, if that comes across as narcissistic, it's not meant to be. Brad killing it today. Thank you. Thank you, Kit. Man, every time I read your damn name, I want a Kit Kat. Have y'all seen the video on X of the drag? Yeah, I did see that. Well, we get removed. So let's continue with this video here of what the other people have to say about Kamala Harris.
Gender, right? Like, do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't have the qualification or the education to really run America, because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy. Right. Like, you're crazy. You're saying the same thing that you said 4 years ago.
So the fact that she's the vice president
That's
to
just
you
the
is
bottom line.
You're like, you've been here, you've had a chance.
Yes.
Well, for me, the very first time I ever heard the
You know what? This is cool because I like that MSNBC's doing this. I don't like them because I call them MSNDNC, but I like hearing from just normal people. See how they talk? They talk like the rest of us. Yeah, she's an idiot. Yeah, she hasn't done anything. Look around. And the media's like, really? You think that she hasn't done anything? Like, why are you playing dumb? Why does MSNBC play dumb? All these people see it. And look, a lot of Republicans don't, hand to God, I really do mean this. I don't mind a woman being president. I really don't. I even said, I know you guys don't like Nikki Haley, but early on, this is before she came out against Trump, when she wrote her book, when she was UN ambassador, I really liked Nikki Haley. I was like, hey, I honestly wouldn't mind her potentially even running for president. Now, it didn't work out because then she had to sit there and bash Trump, right? We all know how politics works, okay? We all know how politics work. You have to sit there and bash your political opponents. That's the way it works. You don't even mean half the shit you're saying, but you have to sit there and distance yourself and do all these things. That's the reason why she wants to sit there and campaign with Trump again and come back in the Trump campaign. Everybody knows how it works. Dizzy, thank you so much. Contribution. Thanks all. Trump 2024. Thank you so much, Dizzy and Def over there on Rumble. Greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. And the reason why we don't have badges on Rumble is that option's just not available yet. I've been meaning to talk to Dylan about that and see if Rumble can maybe institute some sort of badge system. They have badges, right? Like I could see badges next to your guys' names of who's actually verified, who is a supporter. Like I see Dizzy's gold whale. So that stuff stands out to me that he's a subscriber, like he's an actual member over at Rumble. If you guys didn't know that, you can actually join Rumble, join me over there and move your subscription from YouTube to Rumble because Rumble actually gives us more of a cut. But I could see the badges that are next to your guys' names.
Named Kamala Harris. It was an association to locking up parents for truancy. That was the first time I ever heard of her name. And I really didn't understand how this person claims to be a black woman, but yet she's locking up black women and black men and separating families.
This is the thing that is.
All this is true. I'm loving this video. I didn't think it was going to be this good. As I mentioned, this show's all about reactionary commentary, you guys. Very rarely, and I know it's not what you're supposed to do. I tend not to read articles. I like headlines, and then I want to dive into it with the viewership. We got Steven over there. I donated $5. Hope that went through. Oh, it went through, my friend. Thank you so much. And question, has anybody actually brought this to somebody's attention? Is it Steven or is it Stefan? I just want to get it right. I'm going to say Stefan. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the $5. Oh, it went through, my friend, and I do see you. We see it. Thank you. Absolutely right. Everybody sees it, not just from us here, but my friend, there's a lot more people on other platforms that are seeing that $5 go through. Greatly appreciated, my friend. If you guys weren't aware too, again, our show, as small as we are, it's really weird that we have a lot of people that have a lot of reach that watch this show. And what I mean by that is this show was broadcasted live at the RNC right next to Steven Crowder and Donald Trump Jr. So we were there at the RNC, and that was a big shout out and thank you to Rumble coordinator, the guy that the man, maybe future gladiator, Dylan over at Rumble takes care of us. So greatly appreciated to Dylan for having us live stream over at Rumble next to Steven Crowder. At that moment, I think I had like 40,000 subscribers. Steven Crowder has in the millions, you guys. That guy gets over 1 million views every live stream. And we were next to one of the greats. So greatly appreciated, Dylan. Thank you so much for doing that. 20 more likes, Patriot. Let's go. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Trump talks about this a lot. He says, Kamala Harris became black when it was convenient.
Right. Yeah.
Can you talk to me about, do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her blackness?
Absolutely. when she sworn to the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
It's fine. We don't care.
We all know she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, and like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
Oh, God, I almost spit out my coffee. That was good. See, when the media sits there and puts themselves in front of just average Joe Americans, they don't know what to do because they're not going to. The average Joe Americans, especially these fine people over there that were there, I don't know where they're from, just sitting there telling like it is, like don't give me all this crap that she's gonna sit there and be Indian and then she's gonna freaking be black and then she's gonna be this. Like we have Elizabeth Warren being Pocahontas, right? All of a sudden she's Native American. All these things like. When you let average Americans just do their thing and you go talk to them, they talk like the rest of us. They talk like Trump. Oh, well, how could somebody say that? Like when Trump said, grab somebody by the P word, you know what I mean? It's like, has anybody ever been in a locker room with a sports team before? You think that's bad? Go step into a fucking locker room, even in NHL, NFL, and listen to what the guys say. Don't give me that was the worst thing you've ever heard. Get out of here with that crap, really. Everybody's had conversations. Everybody makes jokes on the side when they're having drinks with their friends. And then when somebody said something spicy or something over the edge, like, oh my God, that's so funny because we all know how jokes work. We all know how it works. Drag over there. I love it. Does that say FJB? I love that. F Joe Biden. Damn right. Thanks, Brad, for a great entertainment. Every morning, you keep me company while I clean pools here in Florida. Oh, that's cool. That's dope, dude. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. It's cool to see what you guys do and how you listen to the show. And that's interesting because he's cleaning pools, which makes me think, okay, I'm in his ears and he's, you know, maybe hooked up to his phone or something like that. Some of you listen to me while you're at work, like in a cubicle. That's really fascinating to me to think about. And that's really cool. Thank you so much. And thank you for contributing to this country by doing a job like that, man. That's a hard job. And it's freaking hot in Florida sometimes. And you're doing that job. Kudos to you, dude. That's a strong guy right there. Or a gal. Or a drag queen. See what I did there? Appreciate it. Thank you so much, though, for the $1 over at Rumble, man. Greatly appreciated. Well, we're almost out of time here, folks. Let's read a few chats here. Let's give a little bit of time back to the Patriots. Stefan says Kamala was sworn in as VP as an Indian American, not as a black woman. She only black now because of election. Oh, that's true. Yeah, pandering exactly to the people. By the way, folks, I am reading the chat, so if you have questions for me, throw that in the chat. You do not have to pay. Normally, $5 would be nice, but just throw it in the chat. So true. Karen says, definitely would love to watch Brad plus Jesse on Fire do a live show. I don't know who Jesse on Fire is, but I'll have to check that out. Is that a content creator? I will reach out to them if he is. I'm feeding wildlife in the forest. Oh, that's cool. What kind of wildlife, Lulu, are you feeding? Are you feeding bears? Have you guys seen those videos of people just like, oh, the bear, like it's a fucking grizzly bear. This thing is huge, right? Thing's like 500 pounds. Oh, hey, little cute bear. I'm like, yo, that thing's claws, if it gets you and swipes you, you are filleted open like a fish. I can't believe people are like messing with these animals. You know what I mean? Or like those idiots that jump into the zoo cages with the tigers and then they have to put down the tiger because the tiger fucked them up. You know what I mean? Like, what did you expect to happen? Oh shit, the guy's in there with silverback gorillas. Like, you know what I mean? He's sitting just like, what the? One, kudos to you for messing with animals, because I ain't messing with that stuff. Steve with another $5, man. Damn. Thank you so much. You guys are going, what is going on this Friday? You guys are popping off over here. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say, really. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your guys' asses. I really do mean that. Like, $5 to people is a lot of money. So for you to sit there and give that over here so where we can put it back in the show, greatly appreciated. Thank you. Even a raccoon can rip your eyes out. Can you imagine a raccoon just like a raccoon hopped up on freaking Hunter Biden's cocaine, just going crazy? Brad, you still doing a live for election night? You're damn right, my friend. You are damn right. We're going to be live here on election night. It's going to be a long stream. It might be our longest stream we've ever done, but we will be live. My hope is, my fingers crossed, is that we'll be streaming like somebody's platform, right? Like Fox. We'll be jumping around like ABC, kind of just seeing what everybody says, more or less just watching together. I don't know how much commentary I'm going to be giving. The commentary I'll be giving is probably calling out their hypocrisy during election night, like the stuff they're saying. But we'll be here together. If you want to pop it on your TV or on an iPad or something like that and watch somebody else's thing, you know, that'd be great too. The viewership always helps. But I will be live election night. Oh, you're damn right. I've been gearing up for it. That's why you guys can't see. I clean like that one weekend. We got a camera. So this camera, that's why it looks hopefully better. We do have a camera set up. I retweaked that so that it doesn't cut out anymore, right? I cleaned everything here. The desk is fully cleaned. We are set. So a month ahead of time, I'm set for election night, baby. So that's why we've been streaming here, testing the camera out. And thank you for everybody that donated so that we could get a camera. That was very kind of you. I was able to split the cost of the camera with those that donated. So I really want to give you guys a shout out. And for those that didn't want me to give them a shout out, I wrote them emails back saying thank you, because some of you donated through the website. And that was greatly appreciated. What happens in America with economy impacts life down under in Australia? What happens in America with economy impacts life down under? I don't understand that. But the Australians are great. Like Cocaine Bear. Exactly. That's what I was talking. That's exactly. You picked up on what I was talking about. I mean, the fact that Hunter is still alive after doing that much cocaine and doing all that stuff with those prostitutes is, look, the guy's a freaking, guy's a machine. D, thank you so much. Appreciate your common sense. Oh, that's nice of you. Thank you. Sometimes I think I lack common sense, but you guys will call me out when I do or don't. Camera looks better. Yeah, it's and it's actually the same one we were using, just a different model that allows us to, because I did some Jimmy rigging on the other thing. Like I MacGyvered the shit out of that very old camera that we had before. Dude, if you guys, I had plugs going in the plugs. It kind of looked like a Christmas tree from Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. You know, when he's trying to plug in all the plugs there for those that love like the National Lampoon movies. That's kind of like what it looked like. It was like plug within plug. So now it's like really clean. I only got like a few plugs up here. Before I had like a thing going into my desk that was like an extra converter, and it was rough. What happens in America impacts Australia. What happens in America impacts everybody, right? Because everybody works on the dollar. That's the thing. And so that's why you have Russia, Brazil, India, China trying to move away, the BRICS, from the US dollar because, well, what's going on with our $35 trillion? It's not sustainable. And people are kind of spooked out by that. And so they're kind of taking out more money and more debt to sit there and offset the inflation and basically keep the dollar strong. But it's all smoke. That's the problem. And that's one of my immigration and our debt is the two major issues, because we're going to get impacted hard, and it's going to affect everybody because everybody runs on the dollar. And I mean, Japan's having a rough time right now. Brad, look how far you've come from when you started, not only in the amount of people, but in your own personality. That is true. You should check out our first episode. We showed it like a few months ago, and it's freaking cringy as hell. Maybe I'll show it during the election night. But thank you, Princess. Yeah, it is true. We've come a really, really long way. The fact that 65,000 subscribers is just, I don't know, that's bonkers to me. I was talking to my wife a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, I remember just wanting 100 people and then 1,000. And then I was like, do you think that we would ever hit 10,000? Like, I didn't think that we'd ever hit 10,000. Like, maybe like that'd be a cool goal. Now I'm like, can we hit 100,000? Like, that would be crazy. First, we need to stop government spending. Yes. And that's why we need Elon Musk. And again, the title today, the world needs Trump. And we need Trump here with Elon Musk, hopefully chiseling away at that spending. Remember that guy that this was in Congress through a hearing. God, maybe like at this point, maybe like 3 months ago, maybe a lot longer at this point. And he was holding up a bag of bolts, like airplane bolts. And he asked the guy in front of him, he's like, hey, how much do you think this costs? And he goes like, I don't know. And he goes, this is like $5 at Lowe's. This bag I picked up from Lowe's for $5. And it was like 10,000 bolts, right? He's like, we pay $85,000 for this $5 bag. So we're getting reamed here by people. Do you think we will have an election night considering Kamala is getting her butt kicked in the polls and betting lines? Yeah. Well, yeah, the betting line, she's getting destroyed right now. I mean, that's a really good indicator. I kind of like that. It's kind of cool with the betting lines. But thank you, Pat, for the ball. Brad Army Strong. Yeah, we'll have an election night for sure. The scary thing that people are talking about now that kind of worries me is now the Democrats are kind of getting ballsy, and you had people in office, and I forget the guy's name. He's the guy that had like a hair transplant, was always, his name's slipping my mind. Maybe somebody could put it in here. But he's like, well, we're not going to sit there and certify Donald Trump as the president. Like, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. I forgot the guy's name. I have his face in my mind, but he's a really prominent Democrat. So they come out and said that. So that makes me a little worried that they're going to come out and start burning shit down again like they did with Black Lives Matter. I don't know. It's crazy. It's bonkers. I get up every morning to get my coffee and wait for a notification that Brad is on. Oh, thank you. And again, you don't have to wait for the notification. We go live. I usually try to sit there and go live about 3 minutes before 6 a.m. comes out, but it doesn't always work out because I got a lot of stuff to click on. But anywho, we'll end it there. I gotta go to work. I would love to sit here and chat with all of you. Yeah, there you go. Raffenstein. I think you are right, Sharon. That sounds right. Yeah, the guy, he used to wear like a bandana on his head because he wouldn't admit that he had a hair transplant, and just or whatever. And yeah, he would wear like a bandana. So yeah, Raffenberger or whatever. Hold on, I gotta get this right. It's gonna bug the hell out of me. Raffenberger. No, it's not that guy. No, I don't know. It's not him. He might have said that. I don't know, but it was another guy. Anywho, thank you so much, folks. And thank you to everybody that donated. Hopefully I didn't miss any of your names. I think I got Cornish there. Yeah, appreciate your common sense. Thank you so much for $5. Appreciate all of you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow, maybe with an episode, not live. Sunday with another episode, not live. We'll be back here next week. Monday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of the Ball Brad Show. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Raskin, thank you. Yes. Damn, I knew one of you guys had it. Yep. Let me bring him up. Raskin. Yes, Jamie Raskin, that guy. This guy right here. See how I told you, where's the bandana? I told you. Am I clicking on the wrong screen here? Yeah, that guy right there. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate that. All right, you guys always have my back. With that being said, take care of one another. Pray for this country. We need Donald Trump back in office. Patriots, I'll see you next time here on the Ball Brad Show. Take care.